Welcome to Joyfully Unstoppable, the podcast for women who are ready to lead boldly, live lightly, and reclaim their joy. Whether you're leading a team, a classroom, a boardroom, or your own big, beautiful life, I am so glad you found us. I'm your host, Becky Hamm, leadership coach, speaker, and founder of Women Lead Well. After years of high-level leadership, I discovered that success doesn't have to come at the cost of your peace, your values, or your well-being. Each week, we'll explore what it means to lead joyfully, sustainably, and authentically, even in a world that tells you to hustle harder and prove your worth. You carry a lot. Let's help it feel lighter. Today, we're going to talk about something that doesn't usually make it onto the leadership checklists, but absolutely shapes every single part of how you lead. Your nervous system. We've talked about it a lot here on the podcast before, so I thought today we would do a deep dive. Your nervous system is like the foundation of your leadership presence. If it's dysregulated, if you're stuck in that fight, flight, fawn, freeze, your team feels it. Your decisions show it, and your energy drains fast. But when your nervous system is regulated, you're able to stay calm under pressure, to think clearly, to show up with that steady presence your people need. So, today I am sharing 4 very doable, very powerful tips for regulating your nervous system. These are practices you can use in daily leadership moments to shift out of panic mode and into I got this mode. So here we go. Tip number 1, ground through your senses. What does that mean? Well, here's what you do. When your stress spikes, I want you to pause and reconnect with your 5 senses. So for example, notice 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. You can also just literally put your hand on some sort of a textured surface, right? I've got a fuzzy sweater on today because it's starting to get chilly out. Feels good to touch it with my hand. You can feel your feet pressing into the floor or your bottom being held, supported by the chair if you're sitting. All of that works. Why? Because our senses are a direct line into our body's safety system. Stress pulls us either into the future because we're worrying about what might happen, or it sucks us back into the past where we rehash past events that probably didn't go so great for us. But when you ground into your senses using that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 trick, it brings you back to the present moment. And this signals to your brain, I am safe. I am here, literally right here. I'm here in my body. In this moment, I'm safe. And I can handle this. Now, here's why this is important. Try this, right? You want to try this before you walk into a difficult meeting, maybe right after if you get a stressful email or have a difficult conversation. It doesn't take a long time. It's maybe just 30 seconds of that sensory grounding can help you reset. Why should you try this? It sounds silly, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you're grounded, you project steadiness and calm. Your team picks up on your calm presence instead of your stress, which helps your team to stay focused and secure. Grounding helps you avoid reacting out of anxiety, and instead it helps you to lead from clarity. You make better decisions. And so I'll share from my own experience on this. In a previous role, I led a large team. We had 50 of us, and we went through a period of brutal budget cuts. I'm talking we lost third of our manpower budget and about a quarter of our operating budget, all within a year. It was excruciating. And at the same time, not shockingly, there was a lot of external pressure to make some pretty significant changes. I had multiple team members through that period tell me that they didn't know how I stayed positive throughout that time, and that they knew we would figure it out because I wasn't rattled by it. And at the time, I assured them, love me some Marie Forleo, we've talked about it before, I assured them that everything is figure-outable, that every difficult situation carries opportunities, that we just have to stay focused on finding those opportunities, and that I was confident that we would, right? That I believed in the members of the team and that we would figure this out. All of that was true. Don't ever lie to your people. What I did not say was the unhelpful part, which was also true, and that was that I was deeply rattled by the changes, by the cuts. But they were what they were, right? And the fact that I was rattled, it made me super intentional about grounding myself every single time I started to feel doubt or fear or overwhelm. Because as the one in charge, I didn't have the luxury of panicking, right? I could freak out behind closed doors or while I was driving alone in my car, but I could not project that on my team. I mean, I could have, but that would have been deeply irresponsible. I needed me and I needed my team to be laser focused on finding the opportunities in the middle of the dumpster fire we were experiencing and making the best decisions possible as we figured out the best way forward. And so grounding through my senses was critical to ensuring that I could do that. So, 5 things I can see with my eyes, 4 things I can hear, 3 things I can feel, 2 things I can smell, 1 thing I can taste. It does not take long. You can absolutely do this in public, and ain't nobody gonna know you're doing it. But you ground into your senses. That's tip 1. Tip 2, breathe with intention. You guys know I love me some breath work. We talk about it a lot on the podcast. And so here is what you want to do. Practice intentional breathing patterns that have you exhale longer than you inhale. And so that might be like a 4-7 breathing, 4-7-8. So you inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It could be box breathing, where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, wait for 4, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, wait for 4, right? It just creates the box of your inhale and your exhale. Now, why is this important? Because your breath is one of the fastest ways to regulate your nervous system. Those long, slow exhales, where you exhale longer than you inhale, that activates the parasympathetic branch. That's that rest and restore part of the nervous system, which helps to reduce your anxiety. It lowers your heart rate. It brings you back into the state of calm. And you might notice you might yawn while you're practicing breath work. Amazing, perfection. Yawns are part of your body releasing stress. So if you start yawning while you're doing your breath work, you know it's working. I love it. Here's how you implement. You just start building small little moments of breath work into your day. Before you send that high-stakes email, you might want to pause for a minute and do some intentional breathing. Before you step onto stage or before you stand up to deliver a big presentation, try a round of box breathing. Even while you wait in line for coffee, right? You can do that. Inhale, hold, exhale. I used to do this during my commute. Our daycare was about 10 minutes from our house. And so I would practice box breathing. I do a 7 count. Like I love to breathe in so much, like my lungs are about to explode and then hold it. So I would breathe in, hold, exhale the entire drive to the daycare. And it was a really good way to kind of ground myself after the chaos of getting 2 toddlers ready and out of the house by 6:30 in the morning on my way to work. So that 10-minute drive brought me back to myself. Here's why I think you should try it. Intentional breathing expands your capacity to respond instead of just react. So you're not stuck in that reactivity. You move into intentional acting. Why? Because intentional breathing signals deep safety to your body. Do you remember we've talked before about how your body's one job is to keep you alive? And sometimes that doesn't actually serve your highest self, that the biological needs come in conflict with the deeper purpose of your and meaning of your life. Well, with these intentional breathing exercises, you are breathing, you're alive, and you're breathing more deeply than normal. Our normal breathing is pretty shallow, right? That unreflective. If you're not thinking about breathing, you don't breathe so deep while you're just sitting there. And so when you intentionally take those deep breaths and you exhale longer than you inhale, when you put that structure and that intention around your breathing, flood your body, not just with the oxygen, which is good, but it floods your body with that sense of safety. That helps you keep your voice steady so you can communicate with confidence. It keeps your thoughts clearer so you can make better decisions. And again, it helps your leadership presence to be more centered, even when the stakes are high. Teams trust leaders who stay calm under pressure, and breathwork helps you embody that steadiness. Not in a fake it till you make it kind of way, but in a true, I actually am safe. I feel safe. I acknowledge that safety. You embody the safety. All right, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, move your body. Here's what I mean. Every time we move, the simple physical movement discharges stress. Have you ever been in a meeting with that person whose foot is banging that hole? It's because they got a lot of stress they're trying to discharge. Or that person who clicks their pen. Ugh, I hate it. That's them trying to metabolize or process stress, that tick. It can be tied to some other things too, but it is a unintentional way that people are signaling stress. Now, when I say physical movement discharges stress, bobbing your leg or clicking your pen, that's not a workout. I mean, it could be. Go work out, have a good, healthy workout regimen that is brilliant for you and your body and your health. When I'm talking about metabolizing stress and regulating your nervous system, that could be like rolling your shoulders, right? That doesn't have to be a big deal. I'm sitting here doing it in my chair right now. It could be standing up and stretching, or even sitting at your desk, stretching your neck. It could be taking a walk around your building. It could be shaking your arms out for a few seconds. 2 of the ones that I love literally, if you're watching me on YouTube, you see me, I'm just shaking my hands like I'm trying to fling water off my hands. Do it all the time. The kids love it. Or a big one for me, my favorite one, if I really am worked up or nervous or anxious about something, it's hard to do while I'm sitting here, but I'll try to show you. I swing my arms. They're usually straight. I just don't want to hit my desk. Swing my arms as hard as I possibly can, up and down, for 30 seconds, a minute, something, right? Until I start to feel the change in my body. And you'll feel it when you do this. It is like flips a switch and I just come back to calm. It's amazing. So why is this important? It's important because stress, we can feel stress in our head, right? In our thoughts, and the inner critic that comes out, or that just knot of a headache kind of, right? We feel stress in our head, but stress doesn't just live in our head. It lives in the entire body. Adrenaline, cortisol, when those hormones flood your system, movement helps to metabolize them and reset your nervous system. And if you don't get that movement, if you just push down the stress and kind of bottle it up, that tension gets stored and it just carries with you into your next meeting, your next interaction. Now, how do you do it? Well, you just take short breaks between your meetings. Walk to go refill your water bottle. Take a stretch before you log on to Zoom, or you're logging on before the camera turns on, right? Stretch, roll those shoulders, get the neck moving. If you've got a standing desk, great. You can kind of walk in place at your standing desk. Just 1 minute of movement can help change your nervous system. And now here, this is highly personalized. So I am a high energy person. I am the Energizer Bunny. So high energy actions like shaking my hands or swinging my arms, like that's what works for me. You might respond better to a gentle shoulder roll, to a neck stretch. Just experiment with different options. See which movements help your body feel better. And then those are the ones you should do, right? And here's why I think you should try this. Because when you reset your energy through movement, you stop stress from piling up. You show up fresh and more engaged instead of dragging that stress from one meeting to the next. And here's the kicker. I mean, this is just the truth. Like friend to friend, hi, how you doing? That stress is gonna leave your body at some point. And so you can control how that happens. You can intentionally release your stress with love through that movement. Or your body's just going to vomit it all over everybody else through yelling, through anger, through some other action that you most likely will come to regret. So, like a few shoulder rolls, some arm swings, like that's a whole lot easier way to discharge than yelling at somebody you love. All right, final tip number 4. Anchor with connection. What is that? Well, you can use connection either with yourself or with others to regulate your nervous system. That could be putting one hand on your heart, the other hand on your belly. Why does that work? I don't know. It's some woo-woo thing, but I tell you what, it really does. Try it. Put your hand on your heart, hand on your belly, do your breathing exercises, and you will feel a difference. That could be making meaningful eye contact with someone who you know to be safe. Could be calling a trusted friend. It could just be taking a minute to share gratitude, something that's going well, share a win with a teammate. And here's why it's important. Because we as humans are inherently social beings. We are wired for co-regulation. That means that our nervous systems calm more easily in a safe, supportive connection. It's why our kids come to us for hugs when they're upset, because our bodies literally help their bodies to relax, to feel safe. And we can be clear, right? Friend to friend, the inverse is also true. This is why that anxious leader or that angry coworker infects the whole team so quickly, because we feed off each other's energy. And if you're a deeply empathetic person, you do this more than most. For everyone, leadership can feel isolating at times. But connection tells your body, I am not alone. I am safe and I am supported, because we all deserve support. So here's how you do it. You can schedule a quick check-in with someone you trust. If you have team meetings, you can start your meeting with people sharing their wins, like what's working really well or something they're grateful for the week. You can take a breath with your team before diving into tough work, right? If you're having that team meeting where you're going to talk about how do we suck the egg on budget cuts, what are we going to do to solve this thorny problem? You can take a moment at the beginning of the meeting and intentionally help everyone ground into that safety. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Just quick moments, just an instance of connection can help to reset your nervous system. And here's why I think you should try this. When you anchor in connection, you build a team that trusts each other and draws strength from each other. You create psychological safety, which helps your team to feel calmer, more engaged, more willing to collaborate. That is the secret sauce that you find in teams that work well, where everyone seems happy and willing to help each other out. It's a culture of collaboration. I mean, with maybe some healthy competition, that's a great thing with teams too, but they have this connection, right? That connection comes from the intentional connection I'm talking about here. So, as we wrap up, let's recap the 4 tips. 1, ground through your senses. You literally bring your body back to the present moment. 2, Breathe with intention. Focus on that breath and help that breath regulate your nervous system. 3, move your body. Let your body discharge any stress that you're holding. And 4, anchor with connection. Have the others in your life help bring you back to calm and let your calm, centered, grounded energy help regulate the members of your team. None of these practices take a long time. You don't need a day off or a week's retreat. You don't need to go on some silent meditation retreat to reset your nervous system. You can regulate right where you are in the middle of the day. Most of these you can even do in public. And the payoff is that you make clearer decisions, you communicate with more confidence, and you model the kind of calm presence that your team can rely on. That's what sustainable, authentic leadership looks like. So here's your challenge. Choose one of these tips and practice it today. Now. Now. Maybe it's grounding before your next meeting, breathing before sending an email, and just notice the change in how you feel. And then share it with me. I would love to know how these tips help you. So you can find me at Women Lead Well on all social platforms. So do it today and then reach out to me and let me know. Now, if this episode spoke to you, I would love for you to share it with a friend who's running on empty. We need more women leading from alignment, not adrenaline. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I usually mention the mental load reset, the values clarification exercises at the end of each episode, but today I want to highlight a different resource. On the free resources page at womenleadwell.net, you'll find Leading Through Storms. It's a handbook that I developed earlier this year to help leaders shepherd their teams through challenging times. 2025 has been kind of rough for a lot of people. So if your team is undergoing a restructuring, if it's facing a period of uncertainty, if it's got its own challenges, I invite you to check out Leading Through Storms. It's got a 5-step framework for communicating tough news, tips on how to build team resilience through adversity, guidance on how to handle emotional reactions with empathy, and a whole lot more. Remember, joyful, sustainable, and authentic leadership is possible, and you deserve to enjoy every minute of it. Until next time, I'm Becky Hamm, and this is Joyfully Unstoppable.